Oh, it's good to have him back. Good morning. It's 7:10, and you've been hearing in the news this morning about a young animator from this area, from Warsaw, actually, hoping to put the Black Country on the map with latest work. He's 22 years old. It's called Leo Wright. He's written, created, produced, and filmed The Big Bad Wolf, and it was inspired to write it following a visit to the brilliant Black Country Living Museum. So we'll speak to Leo in a moment about this film and why it features orange chips as well. But first, let's hear a bit of it.
So, there was once a time wolves would blow down houses made from straw and sticks. One day, this little piggy decided to build her house from bricks. Having discovered the power of the humble brick, pigs began to build houses, shops and factories as well. Life was bustling. And as for Billy and Richmond, this was the start of a beautiful friendship. Ta-ra a bit, old pal.
Oh, he's even got the great local words in there. And whoever does the narration is brilliant. Let's find out by talking to Leo Wright. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. You managed to get Boston and Tarara a bit in a 30-second clip there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I tried to ram it with as much Black Country dialect as I could.
So, where did the idea come from then? And how were you inspired by the Black Country Museum?
Well, I've been visiting there for years, and I've always found it truly immersive and interesting to delve into the history of the local area. And I've always liked the idea of cartoon pigs. And given a large population of pigs in the Black Country, I thought it would be a good concept to adapt the Three Little Pigs into the Black Country world, because they discovered the power of the brick at the end of the Three Little Pigs, so they'd moved forward into an industrial revolution and forged ahead.
Oh, I see what you've done there. That is quite clever. So it's an updated version. What happens to the wolf then?
Well, the wolves are now outcasts and homeless on the streets. They're scavenging for food. And this is the story of a little piglet named Richmond, named after the sausage, who discovers a wolf who is a vegetarian.
Wow, this is amazing. Tell me about the local connections then, because you've got local words in there. You got someone local to voice it as well.
Yeah, so I had the wonderful John Homer do the narration that you heard there. I became aware of him in the lockdown on TikTok. He went viral as a 1920s Black Country granddad, and I knew when I came up with the idea for the film, if I was to have any voice, I would love his, because it's so authentically Black Country. And luckily, when I contacted him, it was an instant yes. And he came down to Aardman Animation Studios, and we went in the recording booths and had a great time recording the dialogue.
Well, we need to talk about Aardman Animations, because they're the legends, aren't they? They're the top of the game. They're the Wallace and Gromit people.
Well, yeah, I mean, from a very young age, I was obsessed with Wallace and Gromit, and I decided from about the age of 6 and 7 that I wanted to be an animator. So for all these years later to have had the opportunity to make this short film in their training courses, it was pretty amazing to walk through the door and see a giant Shaun the Sheep staring back at me.
And so just to explain how it works, because I've seen them do it at Aardman, but, the patience that's required, manipulating the clay and then shooting it and then moving it again.
Yeah, so it's 25 individual photographs and movements per second of animation. So I've worked out there's over 8,000 photographs in this 5-minute short film. But you don't realise the amount of work that goes into re-sculpting the characters, because they're all made of clay. So every time you touch them and every shot you do, and you have to put your thumbs in their mouths to bend their mouths open to change expression and change their eyebrows. It's a lot of re-sculpting of the clay. This film had quite a lot of challenges with 3 characters in there.
Wow.
With plasticine elements.
And are you going to enter I know you've won awards for your films before. Are you going to enter this one into an award?
Yeah, I'll enter it round the film festival circuit, and hopefully, who knows what will happen there.
Oh, I need to ask you about the orange chips before you go. How do they come into the story of the Three Little Pigs?
Yeah, so Well, I needed a way of teaching the wolf how to huff and puff again, because they've lost the ability to huff and puff since bricks have come up. So they're eating the world famous Black Country orange chips, and they're too hot to hold. So the little piglet's going to teach him how to huff and puff the chips cold because they're too hot.
Oh.
You know, how could you make a film set in the Black Country without the world famous beef dripping chips?
Well, we went on a narrowboat just before the election and did a whole thing cruising the canals of the West Midlands, and we went through the Black Country. Now, I did have my orange chips cold because it was breakfast time and they weren't open, so it was last night's orange chips cold. So I didn't have the problem that your wolf had. But yeah, they were still good, even cold. They were still pretty good. Going back to Wallace and Gromit, what I love about their films, the Aardman films, is you can watch them again and again and again because the little details in the background, like, you know, the road signs, or, you know, something that's playing on the radio in the background, or a shop front. Have you taken that on as well?
Oh yes, this film is rammed with details. I'm an illustrator as well, so I've rammed it with posters and little Black Country anecdotes in the background, and lots of sausage-based puns, seeing as it's about pigs. So it's certainly got a lot of rewatchability to it.
Oh, when can we see it, and how can we get hold of it, Leo?
Well, I'll be releasing it online on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. It's Leo Wright Studios, but I'll let it do the film festival circuit first because it will affect that initially if I post it now. But I'll be posting sneak peeks and behind the scenes stuff over the coming months and release it before the end of this year.
Well done. Thanks for coming on to tell us about it, and wish you well with the film. It's called The Big Bad Wolf. We think it's probably the first animation set in the Black Country, and it was all inspired after a visit to the brilliant Black Country Living Museum, which is an awesome place. So look out for it. We wish him well.